well, not a little bit. I'm a lot more clear now, and it's done wonders for my health. I live a better lifestyle. I do think the one thing that I probably miss is just like a little bit of wine or something to go with a meal. I think that,
Not a little bit. I'm a lot more clear now.
hold on one second. I think in moderation, I'm going to give you the link, by the way, if you want to share it with people. And
Sure.
I think in moderation, everything's good. But at the end of the day, I'm not a moderation guy.
Are you tweeting me the link or what?
No, I just put it in the chat. There's a little chat thing, but I could also tweet it to you if it makes it easier.
Hang on. Sorry, I got it.
Okay.
Oh, crap.
I think in moderation, everything. So, like I said, I couldn't be happier to have you on today to tell your story. I think what you've done is amazing because you stood up. You were in a work environment, a very proud, and I'm only making an assumption, a very set up environment where they wanted to make Joe Biden look good inside the factory. And you asked, in my opinion, just a very simple, hey, what's your policy on guns? And then I'm going to let you tell the story.
Right. Are we live yet?
We're live. Live.
Right. Yeah, but like the screen I tried sharing it, man, it's like super tiny now. I can't make it any bigger, but that's all right. Yeah, I can go ahead and speak on that. You want me to speak on like the whole altercation or what?
Tell people exactly what happened and tell it from your perspective, because I think everyone sees it from the perspective of whoever shot that video, but it's hard to understand what you were thinking.
Yeah. Well, you guys saw the video of like what actually transpired there, but I didn't know he was going to be coming in until 7 o'clock that morning. He's supposed to be there at 9:30. He was late though, but I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know that's what my day was going to be. So I figured, if Joe Biden's going to be coming into this plant, I should probably articulate a question because I don't like what he's doing right now and what he's standing for. So I think that these are some questions that need to be raised that mainstream media is not doing. So I figured, I took a little bit of time to articulate something because I didn't want to sound like a babbling baboon. And I saw my opportunity and I took it. When he came through the plant, he had like a big blowhorn. He was trying to tell people, go like, we help the unions out through all this. And like, I'm for the unions. It's like, no, you're not, So he started making his way to me, and then he stuck his hand out to shake, and I shook his hand because, I show everybody respect regardless, I don't really know who the man is, like, first off, so I'm going to respect him, first and foremost. But just goes to show how much made off, because he didn't really show me much respect at all. And I thought I answered a solid, concrete question that he kind of like went right over. I actually asked two questions. The first one was, how does he plan on keeping us working, because we're doing great right now under the Trump administration, yet he wants to improve that. Well, I'm always a fan for more improvement, but he kind of didn't answer that one at all. Went straight to the Second Amendment question, which is perfectly fine with me, but he kind of just buried himself there.
It's funny because you were calm, like almost like you are right now. And it was amazing to me to watch how quick he snapped into an angry person and then started just challenging you. How did that feel?
When it first happened, the first thing he said was like, "You're full of what."
Yeah.
And when he said that, I feel as if like he stepped into my world. Like, this is a world he really hasn't been a part of in a really long time. For 47 years, he's been a servant of the people. He hasn't really had to live amongst us. And when he said that, it's like, well, this is it. Like, you're going to start talking to us like how we talk at work. So I didn't really think that, it didn't offend me that he did that, but it definitely took me, it made me think about what actually was about to transpire when he wanted to take the low road there. And I knew what he wanted to do is do a bully tactic. He wanted to bully his way through and show that he could stand his ground and all that. And I wasn't about to let him walk over me or us at that matter, because at that point I wasn't just speaking up for me and my own ideologies, but he was speaking up I was speaking out for the regular, average, hardworking American there. And if I were to back down there, that would have showed that, he could all of us will back down. But I wanted to stand my ground, look at him in his eyes and tell him that this stops here. And I think that he got the message there. And I think a lot of Americans around the country got the same message.
What was the thought process when he said, I think at one point in the conversation, you said, you work for us. And he's like, I don't work for you.
Yeah. So he says that he goes, I'm not working for you. That's exactly what he said. The exact quote is that. I actually did a video on that not too long ago on my social media, and fact checkers wanted to fact check that as well. It's like, I was there, like I heard it. Like, you can't tell me that I'm wrong, So these fact checkers are pretty ridiculous right now. But
are they really fact checkers, or are they just designed to help cover for, the liberal agenda?
That's what it is. They're an agenda checker. That if it doesn't fit their agenda, then they're gonna have to whitewash it. So it is what it is. But that's what we're facing right now. And but yeah, when he wanted to go ahead and go off the deep end, like I knew what was at stake there, and I knew that I was very confident in my stance. There was a lot of people around me that didn't want me to ask the question. Didn't want me to look a fool of myself or anything like that. But I was confident in my research that what I was asking was an important question and something that's actually coming into fruition. Yeah.
I think at one point you mentioned his relationship with Beto O'Rourke, right?
That's right. Yeah, he said he told Beto O'Rourke how he wants him to go up there and actually be his gun czar, if you will, and actually go and lead the effort on this and take away these assault rifles, which call them whatever you want, but like that it says shall not be infringed, and I'm going to see through to that it is not infringed at all.
Well, sad to say, the Second Amendment will be attacked heavily by the radical left. 100%. Guys like Beto O'Rourke, they just want to come to your home with the police and take your guns away.
Yes.
And that to me is, especially when you see some of the freedoms and liberties that the left is already starting to inch away and take away a little bit at a time, that's pretty scary when you think about that in the big picture of life.
Yeah, that's exactly right. A lot of people think that that's what's happening right now is okay, they're going to come and knock on your doors, take a gun, and you're going to have a gun battle. Like, that's not how it works. What they're going to do is they're going to come after an individual here, an individual there. And that individual is going to scream for help. Like, hey, someone help me. Hey, someone help me. And then nobody's going to go and help that person because it's not affecting them yet. Because we're all in our comfort zone right now, and we're not willing to get out of our comfort zone to get anything done. You see these people up there at these rallies, and they're like, hey, they're up in arms, and they're saying, hey, like, I'm upset about what's going on. And they're like, oh, they're just crazy trailer park trash up there. Is that really what they are? Or do they just draw their line before you did? Because when you draw your line, those people might not be there to help you, and you're going to wish that they were.
Yeah, it's scary when you think of all the freedoms that are being attacked in America right now. I mean,
you're absolutely right.
Not just the Second Amendment, but the First Amendment's under attack. I wouldn't be surprised if this YouTube video got censored or slow rolled so that more people couldn't hear this message. And that's another thing, that when you look at all the attacks on our Constitution, they're coming from the radical left. They're coming from the Democrats. And it's almost like the Democrats want to destroy America, or what America has become.
No, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what's happening. We're diving into more deeper issues here, which I enjoyed speaking about, actually. Like what it is, the left's agenda right now isn't really agenda at all. What it is, it's like we're witnessing a Marxist movement happen right before our eyes.
I think it's actually, I don't want to interrupt you, but I got to share something with you. Everyone talks about it being a Marxist or communist or socialist movement. I think it's a little bit deeper than that. I'm going to take it one step deeper. I'm going to go right down the conspiracy rabbit hole. And I don't even think it's a conspiracy, because I think it's pretty obvious what's happening. When countries like China donate hundreds of millions of dollars to the Democratic Party, and countries like Iran support the Democratic Party, you kind of can see that the countries that want to see America drown, die, suffer economically, you can kind of see how these countries are using the Democrats as a way to destroy America and its freedoms. And as America gets attacked and destroyed and slowly etched away with by these countries that want to see us come down on the ladder, the ladder of countries that are successful, You know, it makes China super happy. I've been back and forth to China. Probably won't be allowed back in after a couple more videos like this. But every time I've been to China, Chinese businesses, they are, and I hate to say this, it's not all of them, but it's a high percentage of them. They are unscrupulous in their dealings and the way they deal with America. They will try and figure out 15 different ways to fuck up a deal in a heartbeat. And you look at how Trump treated China. They had to come at him hard. They had to come at him hard this election season, and they chose to support the Democratic Party. If the Democratic Party looked at the overall situation, they would say, hey, listen, we have our values and our belief system. We have our agenda, but we can't side with countries that want to see America die. We can't side with countries like China and Iran. When John Kerry was going to meet with the Iranian leadership team for the last couple of years, what was he talking to them about? Right. What was he going to France and having these clandestine meetings? The odds are
he was hard to find the information back then too, because we didn't have social media. Like information flies now. Like back then, it's a lot harder to do the digging.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing too. You know, you're in Michigan, right? Yep. Do you think that Trump won Michigan?
Absolutely, no doubt in my mind.
Do you think that there was voter fraud?
Yes.
Do you think that when you see 18,000 ballots from dead people, 90+% of them were for Biden? Well, dead people can't vote. Right. So somebody had to vote for them. Exactly. That clearly shows that we had voter fraud.
Yeah, they actually, in Georgia, they just found a bunch of boxes in a back room that weren't counted. Did you see that?
They're finding boxes. I mean, here in Nevada, listen, let me tell you something. Here in Nevada, they printed out ballots, stacks and stacks of ballots, and they would drop them off at apartment complexes, big stacks, this pile, and people would pick them up and they would fill them out. And all you have to do is fill them out with somebody that's on the voter roll and send it in.
And that's something.
Yeah, but nobody wants to talk about this. If you have one instance, one ballot that was fraudulently cast for Joe Biden, then the election is harmed. The election is invalidated to a degree.
We have thousands.
So I think, and I partly put this on Trump too. He had 3 years to address what has clearly been a problem for a long time, especially in Chicago, where I grew up. They've been doing voter fraud there for years. I mean, it's common knowledge. Like everybody in the city knows how it's just a rigged system out there. So voter fraud in America, Americans should be voting for and electing their politicians, not somebody that's not a citizen, not somebody that came across the border and is staying in Texas illegally. We have to figure out a way to make voting for our elections better. And when you think of it, you know, we've got a voting system that uses paper and people. And anytime you have paper and people, you are open to fraud and insanity. Like there's some people that were throwing away Trump ballots because they hate Trump. Well, buddy, hey, you got to leave your politics on the side. You're just there to figure out, you know, who got checked for what. Yeah, and absolutely. When you have situations like that where there's paper and people, you got to get away from paper and people. We have to create a system that doesn't involve human beings in the process of counting votes. And we have to have a system where every citizen gets, and I've always said to myself, I'm a big fan of cryptocurrencies and blockchain. I've always said the easiest way to do that would be to give American citizens with a social security number, using your social security number as a voting number to go in and vote electronically. You could even do it from your phone. They were able to let the girl that's in outer space vote from outer space electronically. Well, she can vote for outer space electronically. Let's figure out how to do it for the rest of us. I mean, it was clearly her. She clearly identified, they had a way to identify her. She was able to identify who she wanted to vote for, and they were able to send it electronically. Take that and multiply it out by everyone else, and that's how you clean up what is clearly a broken system.
Yeah, you just have to do a lot of cyber security with that. So I don't really know technology too much when it comes to that stuff. So I don't know exactly what would have to go into it. But if we
here's the thing.
Network, sure.
here's the thing with software on the blockchain, the actual software is out for everyone to see. So the beauty is when you do voting like that, like here, this Dominion software that everyone's using, it sounds like there's some back doors in it, and you can't see that because it's proprietary code. But if you made that voting software on the blockchain where everyone could analyze it at any given time, well, guess what? It keeps the system honest. What are you drinking, by the way?
This is
shout out to not our sponsor.
Yeah, this is Labette. It's a Canadian beer, so maybe it's not that great, but it's what my parents had when I was over here. So
I got to tell you, the Canadians make some good beer. Molson, Labatt's.
I'm more of a lager guy, so I'm just good. I'm just an open beer is good with me. I don't really have a certain one I go after. You know, I'm not like one of those guys that like know everything about beer. I'm just like, it's a beer. So,
by the way, a guy you got to follow on Twitter, Nick Williams from the Detroit Lions.
Nick Williams. Okay.
He is, I think he's on Detroit. I hope he's on Detroit. Shout out to Nick Williams. I hate to find out you're not on Detroit. That would suck. Where's my guy, Nick? I'll look him up in a little bit, but he is probably one of the more, him and Russ, God, what's his name? Russ. He's a tackle for Carolina, Russ Oken. You follow him at all?
Nope, I don't. I used to be really big into football. I used to know just about everybody, but with what's happened recently, I kind of unplugged from it.
Yep, defensive lineman, Detroit Lions, Nicholas Williams.
Okay.
Don't know why this phone is wacky, but yeah. He is a great follow. He's having a great season, and he even talks out openly about our freedoms that are being taken away. He talks about, all the things that you would want to hear a really good American patriot talk about.
Okay.
And the beauty of America is that we've got this great system of democracy, but between the tech giants and so many other systems that are broken, our freedoms are being twisted and used. People are not able to speak their voice. They're being censored. America is changing, and not for the better. And we have to almost save the American dream, or in 4 or 8 or 12 years, we're going to look back and say, wow, what happened?
Right. Well, I actually have an organization that I'm just starting called Patriots of America. And what we're going to do is take children between the ages of 12 to 17, and we're actually to install them into a summer camp or seasonal camps. And they're going to learn about the Constitution, how to wield arms safely, and how to just be entrepreneurs of the future that stand on their own 2 feet and don't have to rely on anybody for anything.
I think that's great, because kids these days, they're so important. It's so important that kids these days learn about the Constitution, learn about America, learn about our freedoms, because I'd say this all of 2020, freedom is in hot demand. It is a scarcity to have your freedoms. Give you a great example. You look at the governor of California, Newsom. Nobody gets to have Thanksgiving. Nobody gets to go out to restaurants. But he flies his buddies to a restaurant in Hawaii, and they all have dinner. No masks, normal lifestyle. It's funny how the Democrats set rules for everyone else, but not themselves. Nancy Pelosi. No, you can't go get your hair done. She gets her hair done.
Mm-hmm.
So in that world, that's a dictatorship. That's not democracy.
Absolutely.
And America is not about dictatorship. Even at our worst, we're a democracy. We're for the people, by the people.
That's right.
But if we're
even
not,
democracy is not a good thing to have, then you have a mob rule. That's why we live in a republic. And we were supposed to have a full republic, but that didn't happen when writing the Constitution down, because they have to have a unanimous vote to actually write down what's actually in the Constitution. So, which is why slavery wasn't abolished back then either, because they didn't have a unanimous vote, because they knew if they could only do it unanimously, that way everybody could stay together on that. Because if you have one guy crying to the British that this is happening, then their lives would be even more jeopardy. So there's a lot that went down back then. But actually, if you want to start getting deep with like what's actually happening here, I think it's even deeper than that. I think that
let's go deep. Let's get right down into the rabbit hole.
Okay, it's a deep rabbit hole, so bear with me.
Oh, trust me, I've always believed that rabbit hole goes deep, and for some reason lately this year, I think they've got built crews that are digging deeper.
Yeah. So what it actually lies into, I don't believe it lies into politics at all. I actually believe it lies into the individual. And what we're witnessing here is that we're witnessing a revolution within consciousness of human beings. I truly believe that we're actually evolving right now. And that's how, like, we're evolving with two different stages. Like, one stage, we're becoming more aware of who we are as a human species. But at the same time that we're doing that, we're also having this big cloud space come into fruition with a ridiculous amount of data and information that's being swarmed into our minds. So you are what you, let's say like this, like you are who you hang around, right? You end up picking up their mannerisms. You then take things from what they say and you implement them into your everyday life and your own verbal language. Well, the same thing's happening when you go on to TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. These things are what you're feeding your mind. And you will pick up mannerisms from these things as well. But who's controlling that? You have big tech controlling that stuff. So I'm not saying that they're out there to like implement this stuff into your mind, like per se, but we have to look at the social norms. Our social fabric is being torn at the core because of this technological revolution. And we need to get back to our roots here. You know, a lot of people they say that we're losing God. Now, mind you, I'm not of any certain religion, but I do study different types of religions. And a lot of it really ties together at the root. And what we're seeing now is we're seeing people that are living through their ego and not through their soul or their intuition or however you want to call it. And the way I look at it is like what's happening in politics is that we are getting exactly what we deserve. We have had a complete society that has passed off the responsibility of our own doing or of we the people onto politicians. Most people in the United States don't pay attention to politics at all. I'd probably say 90% of people don't pay attention to politics.
And I almost want to say that's not true anymore, and I'll tell you why. I think
maybe not anymore. I'm talking about to get to this stage. Right now, a lot of people are paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think Trump actually made politics interesting again, and I think he brought out a lot of people that hate him involved in the political process, and then he brought out millions of people that were never in the process, but they now had somebody to champion. By the way, we got a little cameo appearance. He is a Second Amendment supporter. He supports the Second Amendment of bones. That's Jesse, my dog.
Nice.
So yeah, I think the last 4 years, you've seen politics almost become a daily discussion, and that has to be attributed to Trump and the way that he transparently tweets every day. He's the first president ever, and he might be the last, that we've ever had that tells the people every day what's on his mind. And he doesn't hold back. Like, he's very transparent.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's a great thing. A lot of people like try to hound him that he's on Twitter doing those things. But you know what? He is cutting the tie between media and the people. He's actually speaking directly to them. And I think that's a wonderful thing. He may not have the language that you like all the time, but you know what? If you always like somebody and they always do exactly what you want, then they're not doing anything special.
By the way, shout out to Crazy Nancy and Lion Chuck.
Right.
Yeah. By the way, Trump has got to be the king of fucking nicknames. He has given so many people nicknames on Twitter that it is literally, you can't find a funnier president in ever in the history of mankind. Like, I don't know Abraham Lincoln and what he was like, but I guarantee you Trump is the funniest human being we've ever had in the White House.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why he gets a lot of hate too, is because they feel like he doesn't take it seriously. But I think he's taking it very seriously. And I think that he's just tired of the circus that's playing on the Capitol. I think everybody's tired of that circus, you know? But yeah, so just to the core issue, what I'm seeing here is that the very underlying issue of all of this comes down to choice. The individual has to make a choice to either stand up or stay in their comfort zone. And that's the choice that I made back when I had that Joe Biden confrontation. I had to choose to get out of my comfort zone, step away from the pack, and actually stand up for what I thought was the correct thing to do at that time, and that's to stand up for my rights. But a lot of people now just don't even want to stand up for their rights. They want to watch things unfold before their very eyes. I mean,
I got to tell you,
we've gotten right now.
I got to tell you, what you did that day took fucking balls. I mean, you're amongst a crowd of people that are probably supporters of the Democratic Party.
Yes.
You're at work, so you have to say to yourself, maybe I lose my job if this gets out of hand. And then you've got the media and the press, and then you've got this old 78-year-old cadre guy that's now getting into your fucking grill telling you fuck off. I'm like, and you stood your ground. Like, there's very few people in the world that would have done what you did. And I don't think people realize that took bravery.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much. And yeah, I do a lot of public speeches now, and some people like just say that they say that's brave, and I just saw that as me being an American, like I really appreciate the compliment, and I'm already saying that, but the way I look at it is like, have we gotten as a society so far away from our core American values that asking a presidential candidate a question about your rights has become bravery? I think that scares me a lot, that the fact that, because like there's a lot of people that looked at that and goes, wow, I couldn't have done that, which maybe you could have if you were just there. I like to give people a little more credit than that, but have we gotten that far away from our forefathers that just asking a question has become taboo?
Yeah, that is so true. And here's the crazy thing. I think what we're realizing now, I think some people, not everybody, I think some people are just, and I think you're definitely one of them, and you're actually one of the leaders that's going to make more people realize this. I don't think people realized 200 some odd years ago, Americans had to fight for freedom. And it was such a refreshing thing that they were willing to die for it. Now we're almost at the point where we have to fight for freedom again, because freedom is one of those things that people will attack and try and take away from you. And America, the reason people come here from other countries and have such a desire to come here is they have freedom to speak, freedom of opportunity, freedom of capitalism. And all those freedoms are under attack right now. And if we don't speak out, if we don't speak up, if we don't step up and save America and save what it stands for, we are going to look back 4, 8, 12 years from now and ask ourselves, where was I when freedom died?
That's right. And well, the thing is, it's already dying. It's dying before our eyes, yet we don't see, we have rallies here and there. People are still being murdered by Antifa. Chaos is still ensuing. Antifa's and our rights are being taken away by the way,
Antifa is just an idea. It's not an organization. Sure. They're not well funded. I mean, they just have a couple of dollars. I mean, it's not like their cash apps are
pulling up in DC. They only got a couple bucks. Yeah, right. Yeah.
By the way, do you remember when the FBI raided the Houston embassy for China?
I don't recall that exact thing. No.
You should look it up. It's one of those stories that the media won't talk about.
Okay.
But they were actually responsible for paying $30 million out to individuals who were found rioting and looting in New York City during those riots.
Yeah, I have heard quite a bit of evidence that they've been bailing these people out that are actually trying to cause chaos. So,
bailouts are coming from the Democratic parties that have set up these funds where they bail people out. But the actual paying through Cash App came from China. These people were organized, they were instructed, they had a plan. It was a military operation. They went in and said, hey, do destruction, destroy windows, destroy small businesses, destroy the Nike store. That is a military operation funded by outside countries. And when that news comes out, when that news is told, when that story finally hits the surface, people are going to realize this whole year has been about attacking America.
Absolutely. Well, there are people that are actually involved in this that see that that's happening. I'm one of them. I see that that's happening. We are absolutely under attack right now. And I think that there's with so much information coming into fruition, like it's hard to actually keep the truth, from actually happening. The truth is being watered down by a lot of lies, by 10,000 as many lies as there is truth, and it's really hard for people to actually make up their minds on which side is the correct side. And the way I like to tell people is you have one side that wants to take away your constitutional rights. The other side doesn't. So when you're in the dark and you're blinded by all this wave of information, close your eyes and reach for the Constitution.
Well, here's another way that I tell people. You've got one party that salutes the flag, loves the flag and loves America. And you've got another party that burns the flag, hates the flag, and wants to see America destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't be any clearer.
Yes.
It's literally right down the middle. You either love America and our flag, or you want to see it burn, or and you spray paint "fuck America" on the side of a building, or you tear down a statue.
Well, I do believe there's a third party to that. You know, you have one person that loves the country, one person that doesn't love the country. Then you have that third party, which I think this third party is actually massive. And this third party are people that work 5, 6, 7 days a week, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, and they just don't know what's going on. You know, and I think that a lot of Biden supporters very much love their country, but they just support Biden because he's a Democrat, and they've been taught from their early age of childhood to vote Democrat, but they don't really understand what's happening right now. So it takes information to teach people this stuff.
So here's the crazy thing. I actually know some people that voted for Biden out here in Nevada. And recently, you know, we went out and we hung out, and literally almost to a T at a discussion we had, they're like, I wouldn't have voted for him if I knew they were going to bring lockdowns and mandatory masks and take away our freedoms. I didn't think that was going to happen. I'm like, how did you not know that was going to happen? That was literally what he kept saying he was going to do.
Yeah, well, because they're unplugged. They're unplugged. They want to go to work, come home, kiss their kids goodnight, have dinner, you know, and then that's it. And then they want to redo it again. But that's just it. That right there is the big problem here. The fact that we're not taking responsibility over our politicians. We need to choose to get out of our comfort zone to actually tackle this stuff. So
here's the one thing that came up over and over again that I heard from Democrats that voted for Biden. It was over and over again. And this is something that the Republicans should listen and learn to. Healthcare. It was always about healthcare. It was always about healthcare. You know, Biden promised me universal healthcare. You know, I was going to get my healthcare. I need healthcare. I need to be able to go to a hospital. And that's the one thing is healthcare in America is it's a wholehearted mess. And it's been a mess since Obamacare. And Trump's tried to do some things. And actually, the drug, I want to say executive order that he passed, where he reduced drugs. I always thought to myself, how can drugs be $750 in the US and you cross the border into Canada and it's $60? And it's the same drug, same company. Like a buddy of mine has a kid and she's epileptic. So he has to buy these EpiPens. He has to buy one for his house, one for his wife's house, and then he has to buy one for the school. In the States, that EpiPen's $750. If he goes to Canada, it's $60. Same company, same product, same drug. I always thought to myself, that kind of seems like the drug companies are fucking Americans like crazy. So when that executive order got passed, A, I thought, Trump, you should have done this a while ago. But B, thank God some president came along and said, hey, we can't let this happen. This is not right. The simple math is it can't cost more for the same drug in the drug companies to sell a drug in America than they would, you know, sell it for less in other countries. And that's the one thing that the Republicans missed the boat on. Healthcare is super important to Americans, and they dropped the ball on that. That should have been a bigger focus. And moving forward, it has to become a bigger focus.
Yeah, well, I think we're witnessing a battle for people to take responsibility for their own lives, and I think that's the battle of mankind right now. Is that because like we have artificial intelligence right on the horizon right now. If we don't start taking responsibility for our own lives, artificial intelligence is going to hurt mankind in a very large way, and that's another reason why I'm an advocate for Donald Trump rather than Joe Biden. If we lose our constitutional rights with artificial intelligence passing the point of singularity, which I recommend everybody listening to go figure out what that is. It's going to be looking very bad. And I'm actually,
we're actually about this close from that singularity that you mentioned.
Absolutely. Well, one of the front runners with artificial intelligence right now is actually none other than Elon Musk. And he's the only person that's begging the government, the United States government, to actually mandate artificial intelligence. Nobody's mandating this. And and this can grow very rapidly, which, if you actually look into it, Elon Musk actually wants to get to Mars just so he can save mankind from artificial intelligence. It's a very real threat.
You know, I actually think, I'm gonna go down a different rabbit hole for a quick second. Sure. I don't think people realize this whole race to Mars and the race to the moon. I don't think people realize you always have to ask yourself, why did we stop manned missions to the moon after Apollo 18? Now, I know there's like, this whole movie out there and blah, 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 but you have to ask yourself, this year, the Defense Department released information that aliens exist, that they found a craft not made of this earth. So 100% we know aliens exist. We now, in the last 2 years, created this military force called Space Force. Okay, why do you need military in the space? Well, probably to protect the earth. And we've got Elon Musk trying to get to Mars. I'm not so sure that the government doesn't realize that we may have visitors from another planet come here soon, and they may not have like good intentions. Maybe we locked up one of their guys who crash landed in Arizona or whatever. But at the end of the day, right, we have to start realizing that that the Earth and other planets, we're seeing a massive push to get to Mars and populate other planets. And also, we're seeing a massive push to operate inside the space station. I think what Elon Musk and SpaceX have done with that new craft, I mean, it is off the hook. They literally are able to go up, get out of the head, go into the space station, bring in supplies, and then that baby comes back on autopilot.
That's right.
That is amazing. Like that is a leap forward in space travel, because in the past, that carriage used to be discarded, and that was very expensive and costly. Now it's just a matter of fuel.
They actually just struck a deal with the Pentagon to actually deliver 80 tons of any equipment the Pentagon needs anywhere in the world within 60 minutes. So it's quite amazing.
Who did that? SpaceX?
Yeah. I'm quite the big Elon Musk fan. Elon Musk is single-handedly changing the world at a very rapid pace that nobody even knows about.
And you want to hear something? He's probably one of the few people in Silicon Valley, which I don't think he's even in Silicon Valley anymore. He's one of the few people he's one of those people that I consider a great American patriot. He is willing to step out and speak out against things that he sees are very bad for America.
Absolutely. He loves America. He's actually from Africa, believe it or not, but he's an absolute American patriot. That's why he threatened to move out of California when they were closing everything down.
I think he did.
If anybody wants to take anything from this, you heard it here first. Tesla will be the biggest company to have ever existed. I guarantee you that.
Why do you think that?
You have another 3 hours. What they're doing is I'm trying to give it this to you in a nutshell. Tesla, with their automobiles, what they're making, which first of all, they're not automobiles, they're artificially intelligent robots that can drive. And he is.
Wow, I got to tell you, that is a very, very good. I like that. They're artificial intelligent robots that can drive. That's good. I've never heard that one before. Did you make that up?
Yeah, you like that?
I got to tell you, that's solid. You put that on a coffee mug, Elon Musk's logo, winner.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but like everybody looks like, hey, like he's not going to be able to beat the auto manufacturing market with a new electric car, because electric is not up to the technology is not there, and they're not going to be able to compete with the big three. Well, I'll tell you guys what, right now, Tesla is the only auto manufacturer in the world right now that actually has is making profit, and they've been profitable for the past 5 quarters. They just got inducted to the S&P 500 the day before yesterday, actually.
Wait, hold on. I don't think they're profitable.
Tesla, they absolutely are.
Are they?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how they
fucking learn on this talk.
They had 4 straight quarters, I believe, of being unprofitable. They're just in Q3 they profited about $8.5 billion.
That is impressive. I did not know that.
Yes, they also are taking up the biggest slot in S&P 500 history. They are 1% of the entire S&P 500 now. They already passed up the S&P 400, which is a group right below the S&P 500. They passed that right up. The last company to do that was actually Yahoo back in the 90s. But they're not taking nearly as much space as Tesla is. Tesla is sitting at their market cap sitting around $428 billion right now. I predict by 2030 they'll be their market cap will be around 10 trillion.
All right, let me check real quick. I actually shorted Tesla today with some puts when I saw it.
Don't short Tesla. That's a bad decision. Don't short Tesla.
Well, I've actually made money shorting Tesla at around 500 for some reason.
They're long about 1.1% today, if I'm not mistaken.
Huh?
I think they're long about 1.1%.
Yeah, they're 487 right now. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm
So
sure.
487, and that means they grew about 10% today. So it actually must have just skyrocketed just a second ago, which is great for me.
Yeah, they're up $43.95 today. So yeah, good call, about 10%.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And it's interesting. It's funny. I looked at the stock ticker. Tesla is morphing into more than a car maker. Publication that wrote about how the electric car maker is becoming more than just a car maker. I'm going to actually send you this. I think.
I'm about to be talking about this on my podcast too. I want people to get involved. I've been begging people to get involved for about 12 months now before they were actually really big into anything. Like everybody's kind of just now figuring it out, but I've been on this stuff for a long time. Tesla, just to give you guys a heads up of what Tesla is doing. Every time that Tesla makes a new vehicle, it becomes the safest vehicle in the world. They are
absolutely
in the top three, that they're all Teslas. And then every time he comes out another one, and for people that are like skeptical, like, oh, they're gonna crash or it's not gonna look good. The Cybertruck alone that doesn't get start to be built in until June of next year. The Cybertruck alone already has just under 1 million pre-orders. So that hasn't even been made yet. They also have 3 factories going up right now. One in Texas, one in
Austin, right?
That's
right
correct.
outside Austin. And then did you see the video of how they're producing 5,000 Teslas in China a day? Did you see that video?
Absolutely.
Where the robot arms, and it's like,
I do that for a living, by the way, and that's what I do for a living. I install all that stuff, and I'm telling you guys right now, Tesla is so far and away when it comes to manufacturing, they are uncatchable.
All right, so if Elon Musk was watching this video right now, what would you say to Elon?
What would I say to Elon?
Aside from, let's grab a beer.
I would say I would love to help you sell Cybertrucks.
Okay, so Elon, this guy is a genius. You should hire him to sell some trucks.
Oh, I'm no genius, no, but I'm a big fan for sure. I'd like to help out any way possible. Okay, I think that what he's doing, what he has another company called Neuro-Link. What's that?
You could be on the cusp of genius. Maybe Neuralink gets you to genius.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But no, what he's doing is he has another company called Neuralink, and Neuralink actually, well, a lot of people.
I saw the demonstration with the pig.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So what it's able to do, it's able to fire electrical impulses into your neurons and have your neurons connect at a more rapid pace. So where, like, you know, you think of something like, I can't remember that word. Well, you won't have to do that anymore because your neurons are actually firing more efficiently than they originally would be. It doesn't alter the way you think. What it does, it enhances the way you think. So a lot of people is getting a bad rap for that.
Do you think Neuralink will help people with Parkinson's? Because I kind of was hoping that was going to be something that they could help.
Absolutely. See, and that's another thing that's happening right now in the market right now. We're witnessing a disruptive innovation of 5 platforms right now. And the last time we were to see this was back in the 1920s with 3 platform disruptive innovations coming out. That was the Model T, or the car, the electricity, and the telephone. And those things changed the way the world works. Well, we have 5 platforms happening right now. We have energy storage, we have artificial intelligence, DNA sequencing, blockchain technology, and I always forget the last one. Forgive me, another one. And did I say robotics? Okay. Then robotics.
Yeah, and, artificial intelligence and robotics are two different things, even though in many ways.
Yes, they are 2 different things, yes.
By the way, when does Skynet go live?
Skynet is already doing a beta already. So I don't know how to get on that right now, but they already have a beta going, but they're not becoming publicly traded until next year, I believe.
Okay, I was actually talking about the Arnold Schwarzenegger Skynet.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about SpaceX. The SpaceX has satellites in the air right now. They're sending 5,000 it's 5,000 satellites up to do a beta internet. They actually have a brand new internet coming out of low orbit satellites.
So I saw that. But isn't that also so that you can have internet in space too?
Correct. I believe so. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that you're right. But Skynet, actually, there is a company called Skynet in China, by the way.
Oh my God. All right. Just for the record, I was like thinking of Skynet from the Terminator movie.
Terminator, yeah.
And believe me, I don't think we're too far from that reality happening. You know, it's funny. Do you remember in the early days of Star Trek, they had the tricorder and it flipped up and you're like, hey, Captain, beam us up. That was the design for the first mobile phone from a Motorola. They actually used that from Star Trek. So it's funny because science fiction eventually becomes just science. And I think to myself, holy fuck, if Skynet ever becomes science from science fiction, I'm going to really want my AR-14.
Well, what if I told you that they already have robots that can survive off of biomaterial?
What?
Yeah, they can eat human flesh and they can get energy from that. That already exists. That's straight out of Elon Musk's mouth.
We're going to leave that rabbit hole for later, because right now I'm worried about whether my toaster is going to fucking eat me one day.
Right. I don't want to be with the toaster, but the thing is, like, these are things that are happening in the world right now that's not being mandated, and it's very important. Like, we're worried about politics, which is great, but there are a lot of things that are happening. Technologies, think about this.
Well, I think politics is like this little distraction for us to, focus on, while behind the scenes, all this shit is happening.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of things happening right now. So like there's all different types of revolutions right now, because we do have this tech revolution. But right now is the best time to actually chase your dreams, believe it or not. I mean, look at what's happening. You have the lowest interest rates in 5,000 years. You have a dead economy. People are selling their businesses like there's no tomorrow. The baby boomers are out there selling their businesses, and a lot of them don't have an exit plan. Yet you can go out there and you can network with people on social media, and you can develop a team. You can go get the funds for a loan. You can go buy a company that has a 30% profit margin on an annual basis. So you're buying assets with debt rather than liabilities, and you're actually building wealth. There's a man that speaks on this all the time. His name is Dan Pena, and it's actually very true what he's actually teaching right now. It's very expensive.
I'd find that interesting.
What's that?
I'd send me a link to him. I'd find that very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. He's all over YouTube right now. But Dan Pena, he's a self-made worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and yeah, he's just a good businessman. And but yeah, there's a lot going on right now that people are unaware of, and that's something I want to bring out. Which, by the way, I'm going to be starting my own podcast so I can actually speak about this at a more deeper level. So make sure there's a segue right there. Follow me on
make a cameo on your podcast.
Jerry Wayne AR-14.
We'll put all the links underneath this one so people
Perfect,
can find you. Twitter, future podcast. Hey, are you going to bring Jesse in for a cameo? Let him talk a little bit about his theory on bones.
Jesse,
my dog, the dog.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, whatever.
You have a dog?
I do. I have a chocolate lab. Her name is Riley. She's
chocolate lab and mastiff. His dad was a mastiff. His mom was a chocolate lab.
Oh, nice, fantastic. Yeah, I love
more after the chocolate lab. Does your chocolate lab love balls?
Yeah, she does. Balls and frisbees. Yeah.
I'm telling you, ball is life. For whatever reason, chocolate labs love to play fetch.
Yeah, she loves to hunt. That's her favorite thing to do.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, she's a hunter.
Pheasant or what?
Anything really. She can go get anything, and she knows what to do. She's an extremely smart dog. I actually taught her how to bird hunt when she was 4 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, but she's extremely intelligent, and she just knows. I just have a connection with her. It's crazy. She knows what I want.
How old is she now?
She's 9. She's gonna be 10 in April.
Awesome.
Yeah, old.
I think dogs are the best.
Oh,
in fact, if dogs ran the country, we'd all be happier.
Oh yeah, I bet it'd be all about love, and that's another thing that's happening right now. Is about love. So let me touch on that real quick with this evolution of consciousness. So you can through social media and through the internet, if you will, or you can learn things to who you are and your inner being, and that's what the ancient Egyptians did. And the way to do that, actually, there's this gentleman. His name is Paul Stamets, and I highly recommend looking him up. He's on Joe Rogan twice. If anybody out here is listening, watch Paul Stamets' first interview with Joe Rogan. It will blow your mind. Now, I've done a lot of research. And mind you, that episode, I single-handedly vetted every single thing that he said to see if it was legit. And everything that he said was 100% legit. And he is actually the leader when it comes to studying psilocybin and mushrooms as a whole.
Psilocybin, that's
magic mushrooms.
I was going to say the magic mushrooms.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with anahuasca or what is that?
Ayahuasca.
Kind
of. It's a little bit different, but they're both from the earth. But from what I hear, you get different experiences. So don't quote me on that because I haven't done that yet. So, but what it is like there's another organization. Just if you want to definitely watch. It's called Amazing Fungi I highly recommend watching that. I think it's about an hour or so long. You have to pay like $5 to watch it because they don't want the mainstream people to know about this. Amazing Fungi. Paul Stamets is in that. You can go to fungi.com. And I'm not.
Yeah, I like the title. The title alone makes me want to watch it.
Exactly. Amazing Fungi. It's quite amazing. It shows how humans are actually very much connected with fungi. And there's an organization called MAPS, and MAPS actually takes psilocybin, and what they are doing is they are curing soldiers of PTSD at a success.
I heard that. I heard it's a very good cure for PTSD, yeah. But I also heard it's curing some other stuff too. God, I want to say, what is it when it's got some other benefits. I know they've done some amazing research around it, and there's some real value to psilocybin.
Yeah, absolutely. So what it does is that it takes down, we're born into a world, and we're constantly have walls that are put up around us. You know, it's always think this way, not that way, think this way. And what this drug does, it lowers down your walls, so you can actually see what the world for what it actually is. And now this is just a research that I've done personally. So I'm not saying that I've done this personally, but from what I'm seeing is that's what it does. And I think it's very beneficial for expanding human consciousness. So I think that we have different paths to go on. And if you just want to know what life is all about, and it's love and love and everything, just check out Amazing Fungi. Don't go off the deep end and start eating mushrooms or anything, but like just do some research, figure it out for yourself.
I'll put the link underneath the video for everyone that wants to see it and check it out.
Yeah, for sure. And if you guys actually watch Amazing Fungi, reach out to me on my social media. Let me know what you think. I'm very interested in what other people think of this.
Yeah, no, I find it super interesting also. Let's see if we've got any shout outs and questions from people.
Yeah, for sure.
Here we go. Tom Zibzibin, put YouTube chat in your space. Put YouTube chat. I don't know what he's asking, but shout out to Tom Zibzibin. Yeah, so it's amazing. I didn't see us going down this deep of a rabbit hole and talking about such a wide variety of subject matter. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 31.
I got to tell you, you are well read and well self-educated.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I dropped out of high school, so that means a lot.
Let me tell you something. The school system is there to help you learn, but ultimately you have to learn all of it on your own. And you have to have the one thing that I think schools don't teach kids enough or at all is teach them that learning is something that they have to feed their brain just like they have to feed their body. And it's funny because when I was younger, I was 18 years old. I got a job as a commodity broker, but before I could actually work, I had to take a test. And I was having a tough time learning. I was probably immature. And one of the guys there helped me pass the test he said, hey, if you have a hard time learning something, just write it out on a legal pad. I ended up writing 16 legal pads front and back, everything that I didn't know, passed the test in a heartbeat. And then when I started getting on the phone as an 18-year-old, I wasn't well versed. So he said, Chris, I'm going to give you another task. Go to the local bookstore, which at the time was Barnes & Noble. Shout out to Barnes & Noble. I hate to see you guys gone. And I used to go there and I'd literally take a stack of books and magazines and put it on this side, grab a muffin and a coffee, and I would literally browse through the books and magazines and put them in this pile and spend 4 hours on a Saturday. And I did that for week after week after week. And I learned so much stuff about a variety of things like knitting and neuro-linguistic programming. And which, by the way, if you ever get a chance, read about NLP. Have you read about NLP?
NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, you said?
Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
Okay.
It's a study that Tony Robbins teaches a lot of, but there's some other guys that have done some great work in that area. It basically says that the words that leave your mouth, before they leave your mouth, they're spoken in your brain. And when they leave your mouth, they go back into your brain. So you actually self-program your life based on the words that you say. So if you say the word, I can, well, eventually in your life, your brain thinks I can do anything I want.
Yeah.
The opposite is true. If you say the opposite, well, eventually you don't think you can do anything. So neuro-linguistic programming was one of the best things I ever learned. I spent years working with Tony Robbins and going to his events. And I absolutely think that that is a subject matter that can change people's mindset and that can change their lives in a heart book. In fact, I just got a deal to publish my book called Trump Winning Mindset. And it's actually for both parties, Democrats and Republicans. It talks about, if you look at Trump's life, everything he says is about winning. He literally does it every day almost. And people don't realize he's not saying it to tout his own horn. He's saying it to program his life, and he's saying it to program Americans' lives. When he says make America great again, he's trying to get people excited about America. There was a time there where people weren't pumped up about America. Now you've got a whole faction of people in America that want to see America be great again. And that was his mindset. That was the way he was changing people's mindset. And that's winning mindset. When you want to see something become great, whether it's your life or your country or your children or your puppy, that's a mindset. That's a winning mindset. You want to see people win.
That's right. See, like they say, make America great again. They're trying to say like, oh, you want us to go back to where we had civil injustice and all that. And like, that's not what it is. When you make America great again, you don't want to go back in a country where there was civil injustice. You want to go back in a country to enter that mindset to who we once inspired to be. And we don't have that inspiration anymore. And that's what it is. Make America great, man, is to be that person, to be in that zone where you're hopeful for what you can become.
Exactly. And I think in one step further, it was designed to make Americans love America again. There came a time there where I don't think people had the passion and love for America that our forefathers had. Or I'll even take it one step further. I have friends that are immigrants to this company, immigrated legally. They came to America, became immigrants. A great friend of mine, Luis, I'm going to connect you with him on Twitter. He owns a coffee shop and a roastery here in Vegas called Samba Latte. He came here from Brazil. He became an American citizen. He started his first coffee shop. He had no money in his pocket, and he is the most happiest American I've ever met in my life. That guy loves America. He loves America more than people that were born here love it. And that's a common thing when you look around. People that come to this country see so much beauty in it that they cry. They love it so much. And we have to get Americans back to that point where they love America.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I could not agree with you more. I don't have anything to add to that. That's right on the nose.
I can't tell you how glad I am we did this, because I'm telling you, there is so much that you have packed inside your brain that you are just sharing with the world. And I'm 100% sure people are going to love your podcast. They're going to love your knowledge sharing. They're going to love your insight. They're going to love your viewpoint. I can't tell you how super happy I am that we had this time, because I thought we were going to talk about like this one brave moment. Turns out that there is just so much information packed into your head. And plus, I'm going to get out of my Tesla shorts just because I talked to you. Sorry, Elon, I was just trying to make a little money.
Tesla. Definitely get in there for long term for sure, because it's going to be there's going to be a lot of series of S curves in Tesla. Mark my words.
When you say S curves, what do you mean?
So S curve is pretty much when it you see a stock how it like just shoots straight up and then it kind of plateaus. Well, if you look at the graph, it's like an S, right? I don't know if I'm doing it backwards to you guys or not, but it's like an S. That's what an S curve is. It shoots up and plateaus, and it's going to shoot up and plateau. You're going to see a lot of those from Tesla, like repeatedly.
Interesting.
So, well, I said there's 5 disruptive innovations. Tesla is a leader of 3 of them.
So batteries, energy storage.
Yep, and artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence with their self-driving. You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is true, and maybe you actually can tell me if this is true. Tesla, in some cities, is going to come out with self-driving autonomous cars that people can own. Like you could literally own a Tesla, and all day long it Ubers people around.
Correct. So right now they have level 4 autonomous driving. Elon Musk predicts that level 5 will be done by the end of this year. Elon Musk has been a little bit weary on his time frame, so I'm going to give him to the end of next year to get that done. But as of right now, they advise you not to, but you can take a sleep in your car and it can drive you to your destination.
Yeah, see
That's anywhere in the nation. That's not in cities. Like, see, like there's other ones like the big three, like Ford and all them. Like, oh, we have autonomous driving, but it's only certain mapped roads. No, Tesla, it's anywhere.
Yeah, so I get that, and I've seen the videos where guys are just they're playing ping pong while one guy's in the driver's seat, and another one was the guy was sleeping in the. I'm not sleeping in a Tesla. Like I'll let the Tesla drive, but I still want to be awake.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. It's gonna take some getting used to for sure, man.
Yeah, well, you never know when a deer is going to jump out in the road or something. I mean,
Well, you're right, but like with the way this is like so to get artificial intelligence up into the point where you can have level 5 autonomy, you have to receive data. And what they're doing is they have received more data than anywhere else on Earth. The closest company is actually a company called Waymo that is owned by Amazon. I believe it's owned by Amazon, and they have approximately. Now, this is dated for a few months, but they have approximately 20 to 30 million miles of data collection for autonomous driving. Tesla is sitting around 2 billion, just to put it in perspective of the data that they need to do that.
There was a kid that was building some autonomous driving software. I can't remember his name. He was a super savvy, smart kid. And he was actually letting the software learn from other cars that drove on a road. So, for example, if a car drove on a road and there's a pothole at a certain mark, it told all the other autonomous driving.
That's exactly what's happening with Tesla.
Okay, maybe Elon bought that kid's company. God, I gotta go look him up. But the kid was a great.
I know they had the best technology that they had up until about a year or two ago. I don't actually know what. Don't quote me on the time. It was a company called NVIDIA, and NVIDIA has autonomous technology microchips. And Tesla went up there and said, "Hey, no, we want to look at your chips." And they weren't what Tesla wanted, so they actually made their own chip. So, and then they went to go ask NVIDIA, "Hey, can you make this as well?" And they said no, they wouldn't be able to make that chip for about 4 years. So that's how far advanced Tesla is with autonomy.
Yeah, but I'm going to take like a little opposite side. Whenever you let a big company come in and look under the hood of your company, 99% of the time, that's always a bad idea, because I've invested in a lot of companies, over 100 in my lifetime, startups. And there have been instances where startups let bigger companies come in. Oh yeah, we're thinking of acquiring you. We just want to see what's going on. Oh, by the way, sorry, we interrupt this talk for a little ball.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because you know what Tesla does? They give all their patents away for free.
They give all their patents away for free?
Yeah. That's how fast that's how innovative they are. By the time you take their patent and put it in your vehicle, they already have something new. Now, mind you, the big three, it takes them between 3 to 6 years to implement something new in their vehicles. Tesla is able to make 13 changes. Just on a manifold, they made 13 changes in 3 months.
Well, Tesla's got some incredible recruiting. Like, they bring in some super talented engineers,
the best in the world.
And it's funny too, because a lot of their guys came from Apple. And I always thought to myself, I think that train has already left, but I always thought to myself, Apple would have been wise to take some of their money and just go buy Tesla. But I think that boat's traveled already.
Tesla would never have been for sale in the first place because of what Elon Musk's mentality is. So his mission is very clear. He wants to transform the world into a clean energy. I'm paraphrasing here, but he wants to very quickly, rapidly change the world into a clean energy world where we can actually just use renewable energy. And that's what he's doing at a very, very, very rapid pace. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize this, of how fast this is actually going to change.
What do you think Elon Musk can do to improve the ball?
The what?
The ball, the average ball.
Like for a dog?
For a dog.
Oh, put a battery in there and make it roll around or something. I don't know.
Okay. Tell you the best ball toy you can get your puppy for Christmas this year. It's on Amazon. It's a ball that when you bounce it, it has lights inside of it. And at night, it's literally the funnest thing you could ever do with your dog. Like, I get Jesse those. The bad news is he finds a way to chew them into a million pieces. But it lights up, and when it bounces, it changes these colors. And it's just literally the funnest thing you could ever do with your dog.
I might have to get one of those for Riley.
Oh my God. Listen, I don't know who it is that sells these, but I just gave him a free plug. best toy you could ever give your dog. Like literally at nighttime, when they see that lighted up ball bouncing, it's like, oh my God, it's magic.
Yeah, I have to look at that for sure.
So, okay, so we've learned a lot about Tesla. Let's talk about your your creative video with your AR-14.
Which one? The NRA one?
I think you did one for the NRA, but I think you did one right afterwards where you put Biden's face or something on the actual clip.
No, that was the NRA one.
Oh, was it?
Same one, yeah.
Talk a little bit about the AR-14.
Well, I got a phone call a couple of days after it happened from this company called Next Level Armament, and they said, "Hey, we got a rifle for you." I went to go pick it up. They just gave it to me for free. They said, "Hey, we want this to be a rifle," and I was like, that's outstanding. It was very nice of them to do that. They made the whole thing in their shop, and it's like there's only one in the world like that. So everybody wants it though. So, but it's pretty cool. It's an AR-15 with an AR-14, on the side of it and stuff. It's really cool stuff, man. It's
You have it nearby or no?
No, I don't have it with me right now. It's back at home. I'm actually at mom and dad's house right now. I came out here to visit.
Oh no, where are they at? Are they in Michigan, right?
Yeah, they're in Michigan as well. They're a little bit far away from like where I live, but like I figured to come out here. And
what part of Michigan are you in?
I'm in a place they call it downriver, and so it's down the Detroit River. So I'm just out an hour south of or actually depends on where I'm living because I go to different places. Right now I'm about an hour south of Detroit. I sold my home about a year ago, and
so you're closer to Cedar Falls because I used to live in Chicago. We drive to Cedar Falls, Detroit, Kalamazoo. God, what other cities did I hit?
Oh, you know the cities then? Okay.
Lansing. Yeah, I'd go up to Lansing. By the way, never drive to Lansing in the middle of a snowstorm. Bad idea. That lake effect snow, absolute the worst.
I hear you.
Yeah, that's one thing about Michigan is you guys get that snow off the lake, and like if we in Chicago we got 3 inches, you guys got like 9 inches.
Oh yeah, it gets bad for sure. We've had blizzards up here and stuff. I've had to drive through that. It gets pretty crazy.
Yeah, if you live in Michigan and you don't have a 4x4, you're in for like some nightmare.
You're not lying.
Yeah, and by the way, when you drive the 4x4 in the snow, put some shit in the truck because that 4x4 will just spin its wheels all over the place.
I like to put snow in the back of mine. That way in the spring I don't have to take anything out.
Oh, that's actually interesting. I never thought of that. Yeah, a buddy of mine, he used to put like sand in the back of his truck because if he ever got stuck, you use that sand to get out.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah, in Chicago, I lived in the burbs also for a while too. And when it snowed, it was interesting. That's one thing in Vegas I don't miss is I kind of miss a little bit, but I don't miss like wind chill and snow. I'm okay with no more wind chill and snow.
I'm tired of our governor.
Huh?
I'm just tired of our governor.
How is she not impeached? Like literally, I look at some of the things that she's doing in Michigan, and it's destroying the state. Like I've worked
with multiple groups so far to try to get her impeached, and every time I work with one of these groups, they want to get an egotistical battle and who's going to get the credit for actually doing it, and they don't actually care what's actually happening. They just want recognition. So if anybody listening to this actually wants to get something done, I would love to help you get that done with my name, and we can actually impeach her.
When does she come up from re-election anyhow?
In 2 years. And actually, I don't want to be plugging this like crazy, but in 2 years' time, if I feel as if the person running against her cannot get the job done, I'm contemplating running against her.
I'll be honest with you. You are very well balanced. You're super intelligent.
Oh, thank you.
I'll tell you what. You should probably run anyhow because I don't think there's a better person, not candidate, person. At your age, your intelligence, your broad knowledge of socio-economic understandings, you would be probably, I'm not kidding you, and I know politics very well. I'm super passionate about politics. You would be exactly what Michigan needs in a new governor because of the simple fact that you have such a wide range of knowledge. Most of these politicians that get into office, they're old, they don't know what Bitcoin is. They don't know how to use a laptop. Like you look at one of the things that we have to change in this country, and this is, I don't know how Trump or this didn't get on the ballot. We just have to get it on the ballot for next election. Term limits. The longer people are in power in Congress, the more that they can sell that power, they can peddle that influence. It's just a natural thing. You've been there for a long enough time, you can peddle it for, donations and, favors to the family. That's one thing. Like when you look at some of these congressmen, 87 years old, Biden's 78 years old, heck, even Trumpy, he's 74 years old. We need fresh, young minds. Not, they don't have to be 30.
I absolutely agree. I agree with you on that, except for one point, because I've been a huge advocate on term limits for a very, very long time. And I didn't change my mind until recently, actually. I just kind of had an epiphany. And what that is that we're instilling that much more power into politics if we do that. So the reason why I think that we're in this situation right now is because nobody's willing to take responsibility for our country. On top of that Constitution, it says "we the people" in very big letters. And we the people have been pushing off our problems on the politicians or somebody else in a hierarchy over and over and over. It's time we take responsibility. I have this device right here, right? And I can go on Twitter, I can go on Facebook, I can see exactly what these politicians are saying, when they're saying it, and how they're acting. And it just takes a few minutes out of my day. We need to be diligent and actually start paying attention to politics and actually voting these people out that are not benefiting us. And if we go through and just have term limits, we're just, again, pushing away the responsibility to get involved onto somebody else.
So I agree with that, but I think that after, let's say, 8 years in Congress, it's important to give new blood, new leadership a chance, and term limits forces that to happen. It also helps us avoid the Nancy Pelosi's and the rickety old guys that are still congressmen because they're part of these well-oiled machines that keep reelecting them. And that's a problem. The longer somebody's in a position, the more that they've got their machine entrenched in the voter system. And that has to change. That we have to cause change. Change is good, by the way. I've always been a big believer. Every day is a day where you change. You can change physically, mentally, intelligence-wise. Heck, you can even change how you speak the language. And if we're not changing, we're not growing. And that's one thing that I think term limits does, is it forces change, and change is good.
No, I hear you. Well, it depends on what kind of change you're going, because right now, the change that we have right now, it doesn't look too good to me, but I see what you're saying. I see your point.
I agree with you that the change doesn't look too good, but actually, I have...
Depends on who wins.
Faith. Huh?
Depends on who wins.
Well, not only that, I think that pain makes people realize and learn. I think sometimes we literally have to be hit with a hammer.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes it has to happen. You have to
crazy. I used to have a hammer by my desk as a prop, but I can't use it. But I think as individuals, we have to be like here, for example, I have friends, tons of friends that have left California this last 5 years. I mean, especially friends that used to live in San Francisco. They couldn't live there anymore. I mean, literally, they're one of my friends, his car window was smashed 18 times in less than 3 months. Wow. He literally couldn't park his car on the street, and he didn't have a garage because the way San Francisco is, not a lot of garages. And I mean, he literally just couldn't live there anymore. It was too expensive. It was crazy. It was too unsafe. He had a kid. And the pain of bad leadership in California is now forcing people to realize we don't want this. Whatever this is bad.
No, you're right. I think that's a beautiful thing. What's happening in California shows which direction our country could be going in. And the same thing is happening to Florida. Florida is the right wing and California is the left. And depending on where you want to live, look at what's happening there. And that's who you should be voting for.
Yeah. And if you look at California, you also look now in New York. Like it's horrific what's happening to the business owners in New York. Like, especially the Jewish people out there, they're being persecuted. Like it's literally, they're almost like being treated like they were back in the Nazi era. Like they're being hunted, they're being videotaped, they're being citationed for having their front door open in their restaurant. I mean, it's crazy. And you look at places like that and you say to yourself, while that is bad change, hopefully it makes people realize we don't want that. Whatever that is not freedom.
And just a message to everybody out there that's in a state that's going to be closing down, they're going to be closing your businesses down and all that, like Michigan. When Trump ran for election, what did he say? He says, "What do you have to lose?" And if you go to close your business down and you know you're going to lose your business, What do you have to lose? Stay open. And I will come out to your business. Well, as long as I can manage to go out there, but I would love to come out and give you guys some a voice to actually stand up against this stuff. And for all the police officers that actually want to implement these actions, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
Well, I think constitutionally they don't have the right to close a business. Like if you like, for example, if the idiot governor of Nevada decides to start shutting down businesses again, well, then he better start cutting checks for their rent, because the funny thing is when they do these lockdowns, the rents don't stop.
Well, that's what they want to do. They want to pay the people. They want to open up the Federal Reserve's checkbook, because then
they can steal money. They can slide little ways to steal money into those bills.
All right. Well, they're buying the debt market. I mean, then we get back into stocks. Back when this happened over in February, March, like our economy was dead. It was either April or May. Forgive me forgive me for not knowing the exact month.
It was like March-ish.
Well, April, May, the economy was completely stagnant, and the stock market had record highs since the most in that month since 1987. Why did that happen with the dead economy? It's because the Federal Reserve is boosting up Wall Street, and they have to boost up the oil. So that's exactly what's happening. The oil should have been down to nearly zero, but yet it was propped up.
Remember, I don't know if you remember, but there was a time where oil was at zero.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because there were tankers. I think there still are tankers out there that it was cheaper to keep them in the ocean than to bring them back or send them to their destination, because the price of oil was ridiculously low. What's oil at these days, by the way?
I think we're sitting around $2 right now, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm talking about a barrel, like $20 a barrel.
It's over $40. It's still being propped.
Okay, so yeah, it's at 40. They're able to deal with it, but I think as the price of oil ultimately becomes lower, the Middle East is going to change. It's going to be very interesting over the next decade to see how the Middle East transforms. They're going to learn that they should have done a lot more with their money during the times when times were good.
Yes, we're not going to be using oil for a lot longer, regardless of who the president is.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think
there's going to be some oil. Don't get me wrong. We're still going to use some oil, but it's not going to be nearly as much as I can see about a 90% swing.
I agree. Not like probably in 3 years, 4 years, maybe.
I think it'll be like for 90% swing. I'm probably looking around 10 years personally, like with the way Tesla's going and stuff like that. But Tesla will be leading this for sure.
I'll be honest with you. If Elon Musk is watching this and he doesn't hire you, he's not as smart as you make him out to be.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. They don't pay for advertisements, so
it would actually make him look smarter if he instantly offered you a position.
That'd be great. Call me up, Elon.
And all you want to do is sell the new truck, right?
Oh, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
By the way, what do you
do it for free? Just give me the truck. Just give me the truck, and I'll sell it for free.
Yeah, don't say that, because he might actually hire you for free now. No, Elon, you got to pay them.
I'm not looking to get rich off anything. I just want to help people out.
Elon, give the guy a decent salary. Don't take him for free. By the way, what do you think about the NKLA? Nikola.
It's going to be bankrupt. It's going to go bankrupt.
I actually think it's a total joke. I don't think they actually have the science that they say they have.
They don't. And it's hydrogen based as well. And it's not cost efficient at all. And it's also, they're also under investigation from the SEC, and GM hasn't closed their partnership with them yet as well.
Well, it was never really a partnership. They were getting some of their stock.
Yeah, they're trying to do that, as well as, and then Nikola needed to use their battery technology as well. So it's supposed to be like they both get something out of it. But their CEO, their founder, actually in part of the deal for them to actually do business, he had to step down because
I think he was kind of like, I think he oversold the pooch on that one. I think he may have put a little bit of fraud into their sell sheets.
Yeah, and then GM's talking about this Hummer, this new electric Hummer that's going to be awesome. And I don't know if you saw the video on it yet, but
I saw the video on it. It looks like a thinned down Hummer. It actually looks more like the Nikola truck.
It's not real. It's all CGI. It doesn't even exist.
Okay, that actually depresses me because I thought it looked good.
It's like a real vehicle. It doesn't exist. I was supposed to be on the job to actually install the lines for it over here in Detroit. It's not the vehicle doesn't exist yet. Everything that you saw is CGI. All the numbers that say the torque and how fast it can go 0 to 60, all that's all fake. It's not real.
the shit you learn when you do just a little bit of questioning and talking, it just blows my mind. Like, I actually thought that was a real truck.
Nope, it's not. I mean, like they're going to make it into a real one, I'm sure. But the specs, they're so far behind Tesla, it is insane. And the
Jesse has
the Cybertruck, though, all the specs that you see on a Cybertruck, 100% legit, and all been tested.
Well, I will say one thing. Funniest thing I saw was when I was watching the live stream that night. Watch how bulletproof or shatterproof the glass is. He throws the ball, the metal ball, and it goes right through the glass.
Yeah, I actually thought that was genius. Actually, let me tell you a little something about Elon. Elon is a master at trolling people. And I'll explain why in a second. But first of all, I personally believe, I have no proof of this, I personally believe that was done on purpose. Because
okay, I got to tell you, I actually thought that the second I saw it. I thought that, I said, this is one of those things that's going to go viral, and now everyone's going to happen.
Because they don't pay a dime for advertising. Because they have people like me doing it, right? Because I'm excited about what's actually happening.
Another reason why Elon should give you a nice salary.
Yeah, I agree. You know, a couple billions of dollars, that'd be great. No,
now for sure you're getting the job. Just
pay. He can afford it.
What if he could just pay you in stock?
Oh God, I jump all over that. Yeah, you know that's how he's paid.
Yeah, exactly.
So he just so everybody listening out there, how Elon gets paid is he has to hit certain goals with Tesla to then be paid by stock, but he cannot sell that stock until he holds it on for I think it's 12 months. He has to hold that stock before he can actually use it. And if he doesn't hit that mark, say an annual mark, he doesn't get to take the fruits of that labor until he hits the following mark that was ahead of time as well.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing. Did you hear about what Elon said when he gets to Mars, that there won't be any U.S. laws? There'll be just laws that he creates?
Yes, well, it's like a committee law that he wants to do, and he thinks less all this mumbo jumbo on these crazy laws are just too much. People work better when they're not being governed like that. Like if you take basic laws, don't kill, don't steal, stuff like that. Typically, people with those guidelines are just good people. And what we're witnessing in the United States right now is we have a lot of laws that are coming into fruition that are victimless crimes. We have police officers that are waiting there's 3 police officers within a mile long just so they can track people from going 10 over. Is that really what we want to be doing right now? So I like the way he's going with that. But yeah, I'm telling you guys all right now, you heard it here first, or maybe you heard it here second, I don't know. Tesla will be the biggest company to have ever existed.
Interesting.
Yeah, and if you have more questions, I'm all ears. I love talking about it. So
I'm actually surprised Amazon hasn't gone into that space.
Oh, they're trying to. They're just too far behind. They have put about $500 million or $1 billion into a company called Rivian.
What's it called?
Rivian.
Never heard of them.
Ford was supposed to partner up with Amazon to go through it, but Ford actually pulled their money out. Rivian isn't going to be close to it either. Then you have another truck called Workhorse that's coming out of Ohio, and that might be getting a deal with the USPS. And we'll see what's going to happen with that. But everybody's calling the next Tesla is Neo, or Neo's the Tesla of China. No, Tesla's the Tesla of China. Tesla has way too big of a market share.
Yeah, Neo's kind of interesting. A friend of mine has been touting that stock like crazy. And I've seen their whole battery switch out thing where they switch out the whole battery. I don't know how that's actually a really good thing, because if you're going long distances, you got to find a place to actually lift your car up and switch out your battery versus juicing up with a charger.
Right. So that's why
I get the whole switching out a full battery is faster than the charger thing, but that just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And then that's why Tesla again is by far and away more advanced than that, because they have a brand new battery that nobody has that is way, way, way more advanced than any other battery that has ever been produced. They also
I gotta say this. I know Tesla is not going to sponsor my podcast and this talk. I think Tesla should ship you one of their cars, preferably the truck.
Oh yeah,
but definitely the Y would be nice too. I think you'd enjoy a Y.
I either want the Plaid or the Cybertruck. The Plaid's a new one coming out, but Plaid is actually going to be the fastest production car ever made.
What's the Plaid? What I didn't even hear about.
It's new. It hasn't been made yet. It's about to be made. It's a sedan. It has over 500 miles per charge, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, over 500 miles per charge. It goes 0 to 60 in less than 1.9 seconds.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's quite an amazing car.
Is that like nuclear power? Did he put like a little nuclear power plant inside that thing?
No, but they will have the new million-mile battery inside of it. That's another thing that people don't know. They have a new battery that will last 1,000,000 miles.
Well, it's funny. Here in Nevada, they got the Gigafactory where they make the batteries, and they have 3 Bitcoin ATMs inside the Gigafactory.
Oh, really?
Interesting, huh?
That is very interesting. Yeah, Bitcoin's sitting at over 17,000 last I checked yesterday. So I'm pretty happy with that as well, because yes, I am invested into Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I got to tell you, we got to do like 17 more talks, because I'm not kidding you. You're the most interesting human being I've ever talked to.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I didn't realize how interesting you were until like 3 seconds ago, when in the back of my head, I would keep hearing the small voice in my head screaming, "Holy fuck, this guy's smart. Holy fuck, this guy's smart."
Oh, I appreciate that. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. I'm no expert in anything, but
it's funny. It's funny that you say that, because remember my story about the Barnes and Noble? I actually read a little bit about a lot of stuff, and that made my life what it is today. And I would highly recommend, like, if you want to go get a college education and get in debt for 100 grand, God bless you. But you want to take a different route and self-educate yourself, you could do the same thing for less money and get more value.
You can do it right on the internet.
You do it on the internet. You can watch it.
With the internet, just on YouTube alone, you have people, if you actually dive into certain things, you have people out there giving away their expertise that are the best in the industry for free.
Most of them on Joe Rogan.
There you go. Yeah, that's why I saw Paul Stamets. He got me going on the.
I'll be honest with you. I think if I keep interviewing you, people are going to visit my podcast more, because they're going to want to learn from you. When does your show go live? When do you start doing it?
I'm working on it this week. I'm hoping to post it either by this weekend or early next week. It'll be
okay. Little tip: get a hardline connection when you do your show, not off wireless. The hardline makes the connection and makes the show good all the time.
Are you talking like an Ethernet cable?
Yeah, Ethernet. Well, a hardline connection, Ethernet. Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
When you go off wireless, it always adds a little glitchiness. When you do it hardline, it is so much better.
I'll do that.
And by the way, call your local cable company and see what the biggest bandwidth is that you can get. What's the greatest bandwidth?
Okay.
Try and not have a dog.
That's something I don't know about.
Try and not have a dog in the background that's going to bark intermittently when the doorbell rings. I think my Amazon guy's dropping off a package right now. That's another thing too. Have you read The Great Reset by the World Economic Forum?
No, sir.
You should read that. Great Reset. It's a document out there. I'm actually surprised that the World Economic Forum put that out there for everyone to read. It literally diagrams exactly what's happening in the world today right now, where they're literally trying to create a great reset, destroy small businesses, create massive businesses that organize and control the flow of money and products.
Well, I know Robert Kiyosaki speaks about the Great Reset. Are you familiar with him?
I know Robert. I love Robert. He's phenomenal guy. Read his books. Great ex-Marine. Has had amazing life stories to tell. He talks about the Great Reset, but you can actually read the Great Reset at the World Economic Forum's website. Okay. And when you read it, you'll think to yourself, holy fuck, people like Bill Gates want people to die to lower the population, and then they want everybody to shop from Amazon and destroy all the businesses.
They want to use cryptocurrency so they can track you as well.
I wouldn't say that that's a cryptocurrency. That's a digital currency.
Yes, Bitcoin isn't really traceable, I should say. So let me go ahead and backtrack on that.
Well, no, Bitcoin's actually very traceable. But if you use decentralized wallets and mix your coins, I can go down that rabbit hole later. But
well, banks are going to fall as well. I think companies like Square are going to take over.
Well, banks, I definitely think, are going to fall. But here's the real thing that's going to pop your bubble. Bitcoin is going to take power away from the politicians, because when politicians can no longer control your money, they can't control your life. And that's where I tell people buy Bitcoin, not because it's going to go up in value, which it will eventually anyhow. It's always going to go up in value. It's a better monetary tool than the US dollar. But
I don't like having my money in the dollar right now at all.
I think it's the worst idea you could ever have.
The dollar just took a hit recently too. Go ahead.
Yeah, the dollar's just it's the dollar has poor politicians managing its structure. When you let politicians control your money, they will find ways to fuck it up. If you want to take politicians out of your money, put your money in Bitcoin. No politician makes up any decisions about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is simple supply and demand. There's 21 million, probably less because people lost their private keys. But Bitcoin is the best money people can have. It'll be the most valuable. Go ahead.
I know it's going to be very valuable. I know that. I can't tell you exactly how it works per se, but I do know it's going to, I expect it to be worth about $100,000 at some point within the next 5 years.
I'll even make one better for you. Okay. Give it to the end of 2021 and it'll trade in the 100,000 plus range.
Wow.
When you're starting to see right now, as Bitcoin's accelerating to $1,000 daily swings, you're going to start seeing in the middle of 21, $10,000 daily swings. And you're going to see it swinging in a much higher region. And the reason why you're going to see that is what you're starting to see is big corporations are saying, hey, we probably should have a little bit of our balance sheet in Bitcoin. Because this US dollar, we use it, but it's not so good. And the politicians that we got, they're finding 4 different ways to fuck it up every week.
No, I hear you.
And the crazy thing is, what 2020 has unraveled is the stock market is like Pavlov's dog. Now, whenever a stimulus bell rings, stock market goes up. No stimulus bell, stock market goes down. Well, these idiot politicians now are trained like Pavlov's dog. Oh, stimulate money, stock market go up, voters happy. No stimulate, stock market goes down, voters unhappy. We now have a bad situation where all they do is keep printing money, increasing the deficit, and eventually that bird is going to come home to roost.
You're absolutely right. Which is why I'm heavily invested in disruptive innovation. Because when I look at, I do have to go here in a second. I have another interview coming up. But the way I look at it is like we have this bubble that's inflating, right? Disruptive innovation is like a stick inside of that bubble. So it keeps going up, keeps going up. Eventually, this stick is going to pop that bubble. And as it comes down, it's going to grab it. And then all the asset, I shouldn't say assets, but all that power that was in that bubble is going to go into these disruptive innovations and they're going to skyrocket. I truly believe that's what's happening right before our eyes.
Jerry, I want to thank you a ton. This was a great talk. You are the most interesting man in America outside of the Dos Equis guy.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
I think you should strongly consider running for governor of Michigan. I think you offer people a young, extremely open-minded, intelligent choice for leadership. And that is desperately needed. In fact, I think it would be great. And if I can make it happen, I'm going to try and make it happen. I'm going to try and get you and the girl that is the governor of South Dakota. I think she is just.
Oh, yeah. She impressed me.
Huh?
She impressed me.
Kristi Noem, right?
Yeah,
did you ever talk to her? Did you talk to her?
No. I saw what she's been doing and she impressed me. Like, I'm a fan.
I would love to get you two on a talk. And I'm telling you, it would probably be the greatest explosion of positive information known to.
I'd love to.
YouTube. By the way, I gotta ask you for another talk in the future. This has been unbelievably educational, unbelievably good, unbelievably enlightening, absolutely, positively fucking off the hook.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. That sounds great.
All right, let me say goodbye to everyone while we shut down the live feed.
Yeah, just so real quick for everybody before you go, I just if I'm gonna plug any book here, I want everybody to go and read Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. It absolutely changed my life, and I wouldn't have done what I did without that book.
Great book, great guy. How's Jordan doing these days? I hope he's doing better.
He's getting better. He's starting to do small podcasts here and there now, so he's on his way back, which is actually literally a godsend.
Can't agree with you more. Definitely a great book to read. Jordan Peterson.
Just follow me at Jerry Wayne AR14, guys. On pretty much all platforms. Jerry Wayne AR14.
I'll put all your links underneath so people can just click and find you.